Hey guys, for those of you who don't already know, let me give you the breaking news. You see this corrupt, idiot, parasitic, diabolical, ritualistic, in a parasite of a food. This one, his name is George Weah, the former Ballon d'Or, African best, world best of the world that can't take his country to the World Cup of the African Cup of Nations anymore. He's now the former president of Liberia because he has been defeated massively by the Liberian people. Most of the people that is around him or that was around him said that his foot is better than his brain because he's a figure-headed, egotistical parasite, ungrateful son of a swine that is unappreciated. This clown came from the slum of Gibraltar in Liberia, Monrovia, where we call the slum. He had basic education. He was never educated. He never graduated high school. But the Most High blessed him with something that he could do very well is to play football, where we call soccer in the international world. After playing for so many local teams in Liberia, he was blessed to go to Cameroon, where he was spotted by Arsene Wenger, the former coach of Arsenal. And that's where his life decided to change. The Most High blessed him to travel the world. He played for many good teams, Monaco, PSG, or I think Chelsea, AC Milan, and the rest of them. He's the only African player to have won the Ballon d'Or. All right? In 2017, overwhelmingly looking at where he come from and the story that he sold to the Liberian people as a child of the slum, they felt that the egotistical, parasite, ungrateful, ritualistic, diabolical idiot was going to do something for the country. But instead of that, he divided the country, brought more chaos, mayhem, catastrophe, murder, kush, drugs to the country of Liberia. He only cared for a specific amount of people in the country. And if you are not a Weahian or Seditian, your feelings or emotional, he did not care about it. They parasite, they egotistical contrams, they ungrateful son of a swine, they uneducated, ungrateful, a clown of a ex-president now, took over the country in less than 6 months. 16 billion vanished from the cover. 25 million vanished with all trace. Next to that, he started building 48 condominiums for himself in Liberia, flying private jets, living the life of luxury while Liberians were dying in abject poverty and agony. In the pain and the agony, he was enjoying pleasure, flying to Ghana. He took 41 days out of the country to watch the World Cup, where his son was playing in Qatar, while Liberia was dying from poverty. There was rice scarcity in the country. This incompetent, parasite, diabolical, ritualistic food did not care. Came back to the country, he would never speak to the people to calm them down. He never had nothing important to say because he only cares for what he wanted. He cleared the Liberian people covered. He created a gang in the country of death squad that were killing people, committing mayhem, arsenal, burning people's houses in the night. There were major editors that were sent to Liberia to edit his government that were murdered by his government. My brother, who was one of the EPS officer, the personal protective people of the president that protect the president, while the egotistical, diabolical, ritualistic, figure-headed, inept, incompetent, so-called president were asleep, my brother was among the people that were protecting him. What happened? He murdered my brother in Nima County, one of the counties on his many presidential tour, because what he wanted my brother to do, to kill another opposition leader, my brother said no, and he murdered him in cold blood. They shot him 3 times, one in the leg, in the stomach, and blew all his brain execution style, and said that the late EPS officer Melvin Elliott he committed suicide. How can a man commit suicide and shoot himself 3 times in the head? This guy was trained. Melvin Early was trained in the United States at one of the biggest military bases in Virginia. Out of the 350 people that came to the United States to train, the early 2005 for the new government when Eli Johnson, former president of Liberia, Eli Johnson Sirleaf, was elected, He came number 2 because of his brilliance and his intellect and intelligence. He served for 15 good years. When he refused to carry out the mayhem that George Weah wanted him to carry out, he was executed. So the dog of a president has been voted out overwhelmingly in Liberia, massively defeated. 99.9% were whipped at the ballot box. He named a former president. His disgrace was overwhelmingly celebrated by the Liberian people in Liberia. A lot of people have been asking me, why is it you haven't been talking on your president, George Weah? The reason I have been keeping quiet because I had a personal vendetta with him. He murdered my brother, and I was looking to go to the country, so I couldn't come out here to put my life at risk. Because even when my brother got killed during his government time in America, he sent people after my life after I started putting the truth out there. But glory be to God Almighty that the incompetent, egotistical, ungrateful son of my swine, the parasite of a president has been overwhelmingly voted out. Every sector in Liberia has been destroyed under his leadership. The health sector, the educational sector, and every sector. Under his leadership, there were $250 million worth of solid crack cocaine found in Liberia. After they were apprehended and ushered to court, George Weah leaders and his people let them to go free, the perpetrator to go free. That's what the incompetent parasite, they contrand, they despicable, incompetent parasite, son of a swan, ungrateful dog. That's what he did. While Liberians were dying in pain and agony, while people were being killed mysteriously in his government, he sat down at a Jamaica resort where he smoked marijuana on Hennessy SO. He smoked very well. That's all he cared about. Smoking, drinking, sleeping with many women in the country. His own friend in government exposing Moba Malu, one of his right-hand men, said that he don't hire no one in government except sleeping with them, especially females. That's all he cares about. The incompetent, egotistical, ungrateful son of a swan, ungrateful fool betrayed the trust of the Liberian people. He divided the country more than even bringing the country together. Liberia got more deplorable. Even the capital city of Liberia, Monrovia, was stated as being one of the most dirtiest cities under his leadership. That's how low this incompetent clown is. Thanks to the Liberian people, he has been voted overwhelmingly out. And now he relinquishing power. But his impeachment is coming. He's going to face the full consequences of the law because he and his entire administration are going to be edited. Anywhere you see the egotistical, diabolical, ritualistic, incompetent clown, the parasite of his president, you should spit on him. He's one of the diseases in Africa that are making the African continent more deplorable. But thank God to the Liberian people, we are resilient. We don't give up. He thought that the presidency was going to be his private property. But God Almighty proved him wrong. He has been voted out. He's now a commoner and a disgraceful, egotistical, constraint, or parasite, ungrateful son of a swine. He's now a former president of Liberia.